It's 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Charge me reading saying I just want some older woman.
Warning, warning, warning. You're now tuned in to the #1 freestyle show on social media. It's the Monday Night Freestyle Classics. Turn it up loud and break off the knob. You're listening to DJ Frankie Cutlass in the mix. Warning. You're now tuned in to the #1 freestyle show on social media. It's the Monday Night Freestyle Classics.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Motivational Monday. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to have a really great class today. An important topic on this wholesale business. These shows are geared to the new wholesale investors out there. And I want to thank everyone who's able to jump on here. As I advertised, the first 9 people who joined me, thank you very much. However, viewer number 10 gets the Starbucks gift card, and I'm gonna reveal who that viewer is shortly. Meanwhile, enjoy the music while I set up for the topic of today, which is how to assign a contract.
Warning.
As a wholesale exit.
The boss is in the building. The boss is in the building.
Contract the property to
Warning.
Anybody have any questions?
You're now tuned in to the #1 freestyle show on social media. It's the Monday Night Freestyle Classics. Your turn in to the Monday Night Classics with the boss of the business, DJ Frankie Cutlass.
Alright, so I'm going to give a quick shout out to a few people here who's watching. First, Shaban. I want to thank Shaban. Last night we were able to contract the property. So Shaban Avali, thank you for joining me this afternoon. The contracts have been sent to title today. We're opening up escrow tomorrow, and so we begin the process of marketing the property and getting it sold. Turn that down a little bit. Also want to thank Alex for joining in, Michelle, Charlie, James. Charlie is on my sidekick here today. He worked with me. Charles Prieto working here with me tonight at Hilco Homes, HH headquarters. What's up, Charlie? Courtney, thank you, Courtney, my counselor. Thank you for joining in. Sharita, we got Ari, got Lance, got Anthony. All right, we got Jesse. What's up, Jesse? Jesse, another great new wholesaler investor in San Antonio. Jesse, thank you for your business. We're going to be closing in your file hopefully this Wednesday. So Siobhan and Jesse are two viewers that saw me on Facebook and reached out to me, and we're doing business together. So shout out to both of those. Manuel, Tina, Anthony. What's up, Anthony from New York? Leticia, Yvette. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and lower this here a little bit because I was told last time that I had the music on too loud by Anthony, another Anthony from Florida. So let me just lower this a little bit here. Okay, so we have it in the background. All right. So hope everybody had a great weekend. I did. I had a great weekend. My sister got married here in San Antonio, and she's happily in love and married, and now had a great weekend. I worked a little bit, and now it's back to work here on a Monday. We had a huge storm a few hours ago, but it's cleared up now. It's pretty sunny out there. What's up, Robert? Rosario, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the iced coffee. I'm enjoying it very much. Protein-filled iced coffee. Gracias, mi amor. Besitos.
Never thought I'd let you go. Never, never, never. I never thought I'd let you go.
1 second, I gotta fast forward this a little bit.
You threw our love away.
Okay, I'm not too crazy about that song. Alright, here we go. So we're gonna jump into it. We're gonna jump into
your turn in to the Monday Night Classic.
Assignment of Contract. Now, before I set the stage for that, okay, I want to go over a few things here.
This is where all the magic happens.
This here, Facebook is in a little bit of a delay because we're using a special software program that lets you, the audience, see what's on my screen. Right now on my screen, you should be seeing the Assignment of Contract, correct?
David Suarez, what's up, baby?
Now, understand that what I'm doing tonight is explaining to the audience here how to properly complete, how to properly draft up an assignment of contract. This is, of course, keep in mind that you already have a contract to sell, right? So, once you've met with the seller and you decided what the ARV is, alright, cool. Okay, Champion, thank you for watching. Anastacio, what's up? Denise and Ari. So, as I was saying, you've met with the seller, you negotiated a price for the property. You figure out what the ARV is. You figure out what the rehab is. Okay? You figured out all these things. You figured out what your fee is going to be, your assignment fee. Okay. Now what? What's the next step? The next step is to market the property. And once you have marketed the property, and we could have a show on how to market a property as well, how to market a contract, right? This is an assignment of contract. Also, full disclosure, I'm not an attorney. What I'm going to be going over with you today is information that you can use. However, I am not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. If you want legal advice, speak to an attorney, and they'll charge you hundreds of dollars. So the information you're getting here is for free. There's no strings attached to the information I'm giving you here today. You can ask Siobhan or Jesse, who's watching. They have done business with me in the last 30 days. Well, because they were humble enough to reach out to me. Remember, you're not begging for information, okay? You're not begging for information. You're asking for information, okay? And it takes it takes courage to do that as well. But you want to humble yourself, and remember that my company here, Hilco Homes, always has their doors open for anyone who wants to get into this business and do this full time. We are hiring, by the way. We are looking for new acquisitions partners in the country because we're nationwide. We actually just have a franchise that we just sold in Washington State by Seattle a couple weeks ago. So we are going nationwide. A lot of exciting things that are happening here. And like I said, if you have any questions, just feel free to text me or call me, or just put them in the comments section here. Sorry, but I'm not for music. It's loud, as you can hear. Hard to make out what you're saying. Okay, well, I think I lowered it already, Esther. If it's still too loud, let me know. What does it sound like? Is it too loud? All right.
Yeah.
Still too loud?
You gotta understand it's coming from your speaker.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right. Well, let me adjust that then. Cool. I appreciate that feedback. Boom. All right, so we'll just lower it then completely to 0. Let's see here. Okay, Esther, I got you, girl. I got you. I lowered it. Okay, honey. All right. Hey, San, Juanita, how we're doing? Aaron, Abraham, thank you for joining in. All right. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and pull up this document. Okay. So this will be a show on how to properly complete and draft up an assignment of contract, like I said earlier. This one is actually one document that we actually use in the business here. Okay. And you have to have some type of Adobe Acrobat. That's what we use to edit these documents. Remember, we like to work on PDF formats. So this is if you can see up here on the top right, it says Adobe Acrobat Reader. So if you have a software, you'll need some software to edit it. We like to use this type of software. So the title is Assignment to 1 to 4 Family Residential Contract. Of course, that's going to change if it's for land or if it's commercial property. You're not going to be using a 1 to 4 Family Residential Contract. Last week, I believe I did a video on 1 to 4, how to properly fill that out. Victor asked a question, and he would like to know if he can get a rough draft of that. Victor, yeah, just private message me after the video, after the show's over, and I'll be happy to send you a copy of this draft document. So, the first page here, let me just click on fill and sign, okay. And then we can close this side of the window so it's not distracting us, so you get a full view. All right, much better. Okay, so this agreement is between Hilco Homes, hereafter known as the assignor, and blank. Remember, everybody, if you're the wholesaler and you've got a contract, you're the assignor, and you're going to be assigning this to an end buyer or another wholesaler where you're doing a double close. For today's purposes, we're going to be just discussing a straight assignment to the end buyer. We're not doing a double assignment. That's for another show. Okay, let's just keep it simple here for the newbie wholesalers out there. So right here where it says and, okay, we're going to write Mr. Jones. Okay, if it's an LLC, you put the LLC name on there. Mr. Jones LLC. But if you're dealing with an end buyer who's going to be using his personal name as the buyer and doesn't have a company name, that's fine too. Okay. Angel asks, how do you do a double screen? Well, Angel, that's a great question, and I may have to charge you for that. Now, it's called, what's it called there, Charlie?
Sorry, what?
What's the program called? ODB? OBD?
OBS.
It's called OBS, Angel. It's a free software online. OBS. Okay. Why don't you put that on the comment section for Angel?
Right.
Angel, Charlie's going to give you the software name. All right. So, Mr. Jones. Okay. Although hereafter known as the assignee for the property located at XYZ. So this is going to be located on First Street, right? First Street, you know, San Antonio, Texas, zip code. Okay, that's going to take up both lines, right? And you're going to jump down to this line, NCB. NCB is an acronym. Actually, I don't know what it stands for, but it's some type of city acronym for the official property description. Now, where do you get the NCB? You get the NCB from the tax record. Okay, it's very, very important, these numbers, because this is what the title uses to pull up the abstract on this property. Excuse me, I'm drinking some delicious iced coffee from Herbalife. Yes, I am plugging Herbalife. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah.
So here it would be the description. So it's going to be like block 2, lot 5. And then it's going to say a whole bunch of different numbers and whatnot, and you know, sometimes irregular lot size or whatever. So remember, every property has its own unique serial number. It's like a serial number, if you ask me. So that goes there. Okay, very important. Now I'm going to scroll down. The next line says, whereas a signer entered into assignment of a 1 to 4 family residential contract with, here, you're going to put down the seller's name. Okay? That could be a regular homeowner. It could be an estate sale. It could be a corporation. It could be an LLC. If it's a probate where the owner passed away, like the one I just did with Siobhan, if she's still watching, say hello, Siobhan. It may say estate of Jose Campos and executor, and with his name of the executor. So it would be something like estate of Jose Campos, executor, where his son is going to be named John Campos as executor. Okay, so you'll see that often. These are legal terms used by attorneys. So keep that in mind. If it's a probate, it might be the estate, may be the name of the estate of Mr. Jose Campos and John Campos as executor of the estate. Okay, moving on. Hi Tasha, thank you for watching. Yes, Siobhan, hello, wonderful. Okay, next line. Seller for subject property, whereas a signer, remember you're the assigner, you're assigning this contract, wishes to assign its rights and interests to the real estate purchase contract. It is hereby agreed upon, signer and assigning as follows. Now, these are the terms and conditions now, right? There we go. Line number 1. Condition number 1. The assignee shall pay assigner a total assignment fee in the amount of blank fee. This is where you get paid, guys. So remember, from what you contracted the property for, let's say you contracted the property for $70,000, okay, with the seller, right? The seller agreed to $70,000. Okay, well you marketed it for $80,000. Okay, okay. So what's the difference? The difference is $10,000. Follow me? So that's your fee. Okay, so here you write $10,000 and cents. Always put the cents. You know, we want to be professional in this business, so we always want to make sure that it's not sloppily done. Always add the cents to this. That's the assignment fee you see here in capital letters. right? Payable, let me scroll down a little bit. Okay. That way, I think my photo's in the way. I should make my image on my photo a little bit smaller in my video. So, assignment payable at closing of transaction between assignee and seller. Portion of the assignment will be paid prior to closing as deposit as stipulated on number 4 listed below. We're going to go over that right now. Clause number 2. Assignor and assignee agree to utilize the services of the closing agent designated by the assignor. What that means is basically you're going to be using your title company that you opened up escrow with. You, the one that wrote up the contract, the original wholesaler, you have to pick a title company. This is very important. You want a title company that's going to work with investor-friendly type of deals. Hey, Joanna, thank you for watching. Nikki, thank you for watching. Mike, okay. And by the way, we have 20 people watching the show. I asked for the 10th viewer to, whoever watches, whoever's live on the 10th viewer to, who's going to win a Starbucks card. Next week, I'll probably do a little bit further because we got 20 people, which is great. All right, well, we're down to 13 now, but well, maybe I wasn't looking at 19. Maybe I was looking at 13. But anyway, so can we announce who won the...
Yeah, Anthony Aranga.
Okay, Anthony Aranga, if you're watching still, if you're online, you won the gift card. You were the 10th viewer to get on, and that's pretty awesome. I think this marketing worked because usually I had 3 or 4 that were logged on, but today we got up to 20 that logged on. So congratulations, Anthony Aranga. Aranga. I don't think we know each other. Maybe we do. Private message me your information, and I'll be happy to email you the gift card to Starbucks. And speaking about Starbucks, here's my iced coffee. All right, guys, I know you're here for business, so no more playing around. Back to work. Okay. All right, where was I? So you're gonna choose the title company, correct? Okay, working on number 3. Number 3 is assignee must close on transaction on or before blank. If assignee fails to close on or before blank, assignee must submit an extension request within 24 hours of an additional deposit of blank. If assignee fails to close within 7 days of that date, this agreement shall be made null and void, and assignee shall forfeit all rights and to non-refundable deposits. Okay.
So, you to send them properties.
Yes.
Send me your part of it.
All right. We'll worry about that in a minute. For now, I want to get this done, so we've got this taken care of. So, assignee must close on or before date. Now, this is very important. Remember, guys, if you have an original contract with the seller, and let's say you're supposed to close July 31st next month, right? That's what it's written on the contract, because usually when you write up these contracts, you're telling the seller, we can close within 30 to 45 days. Now, let's say you found an end buyer. Okay, well, the end buyer could probably close early, or maybe you want to get paid early too. Do you need to wait till July 31st to close? No, you do not have to wait. Okay, if you contract a property and you locate a buyer because it's a hot piece of property and there's a lot of demand for that in neighborhood in that house, you can stipulate to your end buyer, the assignee, that you want your condition is that he needs to close within 7 to 10 days. Okay, so today is June 24th. That means you're telling the assignee that you want to close in July 5th. Okay, about 10 days or so, right? Now, this of course is if the property's vacant and there's no one living there, there's no tenants there. But just because your original contract says July 31st does not mean you need to wait until July 31st. So that's what you could write here. You could write, you know what? I want to close June 10th. That's a Friday. You don't have to write the word Friday, but I'm going to write it there. You always want to make sure you check the calendars. What's up, Manuel? Thank you for watching. I appreciate that comment. Thank you very much, Nidia. Always want to check your calendar when you write up these contracts, guys, because you don't want to write up a contract and the closing is on a weekend. Last time I checked, title companies do not work on weekends, so be careful with that. Okay. Moving along. if a signee fails to close on or before June 10th, right? Friday, an additional deposit can be added on per day. Now we've been having to do this lately because assignees have been telling us lately that we need more time. It's the hard money lender. It's blah blah blah, right? And so, okay, well, fine. I mean, if you want to wait another 5 days, it's going to cost you $50 a day or $10 a day. It's whatever you negotiate. $50 a day is going to raise some eyebrows, and they'll realize that you're a business person and time is of the essence with this deal. If a signee fails to close within 7 days of June 10th, right? This agreement shall be made null and void, and the signee shall forfeit all his rights and non-refundable deposits. So again, understand in this wholesale business that if a signee leaves a deposit, that deposit is non-refundable if they break their contract and can't close, they can't perform. This is the big leagues, guys, and it also depends on how much you leave as deposit. So, okay, now here at Hilco Homes, we always require our signees to leave a $3,500 deposit. Okay, that is written out to Hilco Homes LLC. It's not written out to the title company. Okay, and there's reasons we do that. It's to protect our assets and our contracts. Now, moving on. The amount will be deducted from the assignment fee. Now, of course, if a buyer and end buyer is leaving a $3,500 deposit, that deposit will go as a credit towards the sale price at closing. You're not charging them an additional $3,500 on the top of the sale price of what the contract reads. It is credited to the buyer, and he would need you just to come up with a difference on what the sale price was. In this case, it's $70,000. Therefore, the buyer would have to come up with another, $66,500. Okay, moving on to clause number 5. I hope everyone is getting this. If you have any questions, please just put them in your comment section. Charlie's here working with me, and will be asking me if anyone's asking any questions here. Okay.
No, it's Victor Gonzalez saying thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome, Victor. 1 second here. All right. Moving on to clause number 5. Okay, just making sure the volume is on. A signer has negotiated purchase price of the subject property of blank, adding the assignment fee of blank. The signee's total purchase price is blank. Accepts all the terms and conditions of the contract for the sale price between the signer and seller in its entirety. Okay, so here in clause number 5, you will put down what you contracted the property for. So for this one, we agreed that we negotiated a price of $70,000 with the seller, right? That's too many zeros. And you add in an assignment fee of $80,000. Of $10,000. That'll bring you to $80,000. Boom. That's $10,000 there, and then so that'll be a total purchase price of $80,000. Okay. Okay, everyone has that there? Okay, so again, you, the wholesaler, negotiated a price with the seller. The original documents on the front end is called the front end for $70,000. You market the property, the contract. You marketed the contract on Facebook, on Marketplace, on Craigslist, wherever, and you were able to get an additional $10,000, right here, and you sold it for $80,000. Okay, that's what the end buyer is paying, $80,000 for this property. It's a win-win for everybody. All right. Assignee accepts all the terms and conditions of the contract for sale purchase between assigner and seller in its entirety. Now remember this. If clause number 5 says assignee accepts all terms and conditions of the contract for sale between assigner and seller in its entirety, I could tell you, if I was the assignee buying this property, I would want to see the original documents before I cut a check for $3,500 to you, Hilco Homes. So keep in mind that once you have a buyer for this contract, he should request him. If he doesn't, then he's not really protecting his money there. Before he cuts you the check, this is a certified check, right? And it's not refundable. He's going to ask you for the original documents, right? He wants to know, number 5, what are the terms and conditions of the contract for sale and purchase? So be ready for that. Be ready to email. Be ready to DocuSign. If you have DocuSign, it's a great program. All these original documents to the end buyer. And what I recommend you do, because this is what we do at Hilco Homes, we have the end buyer initial every page of all the original documents. That way, he or she cannot say, "Oh, I didn't know about this term or this condition on the front end." What do you mean you didn't know? Your initial is on the page on the bottom. Of course you knew. I mean, if you didn't read it, that's not my fault, right? You got to do your due diligence. Everybody get that? Give me some likes. Can I get some likes, please, Charlie? Can you like me? You like me already? See, Charlie likes me. I don't think anybody else likes me here, but okay. Hey, Reagan. All right. So keep that in mind, guys. Have those documents ready to go once you find an end buyer. Don't be scrambling to find the documents or, "Oh, I don't have them. Title has them." And speaking about title, when you do have a contract, you should be sending that contract to title so they can open up escrow to find out what the title looks like, if there's any clouds or judgments or liens on the property. Hello, Rosario. Thank you for watching, amor. Thank you for the iced coffee. Besitos. And I personally prefer to send the end buyer the receipted contract so they can see that it's been receipted with the title company and my deposit's there. So keep that in mind. Thank you for the hearts and the likes. Okay, moving on to number 6, guys. The assignment is contingent on the seller providing a clear and marketable title to assignee prior to closing date. In the event that a clear and marketable title cannot be obtained, assignee shall be released from his assignment and refunded the $3,500 deposit. So here you would write $3,500 deposit. Okay, does everybody know what that means? Clause number 6? Okay. Clause number 6 means basically, guys, what I just said, which is very important. Once you have a contract executed with the seller and you signed it already and you left the deposit with the title company, with us here at Hilco Homes, we leave a $10 deposit. Let me repeat that. $10 deposit, not $10,000 or $100 or $50, right? $10. Okay. Once that's been escrowed and title has been opened, the title company goes and does their abstract research. And within 7 to 10 days of opening title, you should be getting back from them a commitment, which is written in the contract. I think page 2 has commitment. What does commitment mean? Well, it doesn't mean your love relationship with your girlfriend or boyfriend. It means that it has Schedule A, it has Schedule C, it has all these other legal terms. It explains if there's a lien on the home, if there's child support, who's the property vested to. That's very important because now you'll know how many hairs need to be located, how many people need to sign off on that deal from the seller side. Am I making sense, guys? What do you think, Charlie? Am I making sense? I'm making a lot of sense, right?
Of course.
Okay, I wanted to hear my freestyle music, but unfortunately it's too loud. But this is very important. Acknowledge receipt of eligible copies of original contract, number 7. So number 7 again says that signee acknowledges he received the legalized copies of the original contract, which is what I just discussed 5 minutes ago, in its entirety, including all addendums. There may be some addendums. There may be some other amendments to that. Okay? Maybe it's in the HOA. Maybe there's owner financing addendums. Maybe there's non-realty items addendum, which is one I did just last night. The assignee is confirming a review and accepts all original documentation. The assignee has to sign over here on the bottom, on the right, and then you would sign on the left because you're the assigner. Got it? Okay. Okay. Page number 2. Assignee acknowledges that the property will be delivered vacant. Now, if it's occupied with tenants, then you would say non-vacant. Okay? That opens a whole can of interesting information, because if there's tenants there, right? If it's a multi-family home where it's a duplex or something, now we need to get into, okay, well, is there leases? So how much are they paying? What's the deposits? When does the lease expire? Is it a San Antonio Housing Authority, a Saha lease? Okay, now you need to get more information. If you're going to be selling a prop, you're going to be contracting sale of a contract. If it has tenants, I would say a good 25 to 30% of our properties are sold with tenants. So that's something you need to consider and think about when you're assigning a contract that has tenants and you're transferring the tenants to the new owners, okay? The important thing is lease. If it has a lease, you need a copy of the lease. If they don't have a lease and they're month to month and they want to stay, fine. What are they paying rent? Are they paying the utilities or not? How many people are living there? You'll need their name and phone number and email so you can give that information to the new owner. You got to think, okay, what information do you need to make it a smooth transaction? Okay, us wholesalers, sometimes we get a bad rap out there because we don't provide the proper information to the end buyer. Here at Hilco Homes, we like to think that we're taking this business into a more corporate, more professional level type of environment. And so here at Hilco Homes, we pride ourselves in being transparent, and we appreciate all our viewerships on social media and on providing you this free content for you to learn from and grow with us. And like I just did a deal this weekend with one of my Facebook viewers. We want to continue that momentum. And remember, you're not begging, you're asking questions, and we're here to help you with your questions. Okay, so got a question from Lois. Lois, one moment, let me answer the question. So, okay, Noti. So the assigner has to send the title to the title company before marketing the property to make sure the property has no liens. Okay, that's a wonderful question, Miss Onat. The assigner has to send the contracts, the original contracts, right, along with any supporting documents like lead paint disclosure, seller disclosure, those documents. Those are the most important 3 documents if it pertains to that type of property. The 1-4 contract, the lead paint disclosure, was built before 1978, and the the property seller disclosure. That's required by Texas law. A lot of wholesalers don't do it, but they're opening up themselves for a possible lawsuit down the road. I do not want to get sued. Thank you. Okay, so yes, those documents, Lois, Onate, you would send those to the title company and leave your $10 deposit with them. Okay, it could be a personal check. It doesn't have to be certified. Don't do cash. Write a personal check $10 deposit. That deposit is written to the title company, not to the seller. Okay, that $10 check is written to the title company. Okay, the seller does not need to know how much you're depositing. All you're telling the seller is, this is we're going to be opening up escrow. If they want to know how much, well, you can tell them how much. And if they have an issue with that, let me know. I'll discuss how you can go past that. So once the title company has these documents, you're going to get a copy of that. It's called receipted contracts. Once it's receipted, the title company automatically starts to do the abstract, okay, to find out if there's any liens. So yes, while they're doing that, you're marketing the property. So that's your answer. As that's going on, it takes 7 to 10 days, you are marketing this contract, okay, not the property. You're selling the contract, not a property. Always remember that, and always put that in asterisks on social media or anywhere you're advertising. Asterisk on the bottom, assignment of contract, cash or hard money lender buyers only. That's how we market our property. Okay, Shabon, I'm glad you find this informative. Hey guys, once you do 1 or 2 of these, it gets pretty easy, you know. So it's not rocket science, believe me. I mean, you see some of these wholesalers out there, not rocket science, as you can sell. All right. Hey Joshua, thank you for watching. Bill, thank you for watching. Alexandra, thank you for watching. June, Guy, awesome. We did give away the Starbucks gift card, so if anybody out there is still watching and wants to know where their gift card is, well, you weren't the 10th viewer, but you could tune into next week's show, and I'll probably put the 25th viewer. We'll see. Oh, and by the way, I'd like to plug real quickly before we finish this here. Hilco Homes here at Hilco Homes, we're going to be doing a continuation of season 2 of Ask Wholesaler every Wednesday. Time is still we're still working on the time, but it's probably be in the afternoon. So you can catch us here at Hilco Homes. I'll be hosting the show this week, this Wednesday, Ask Wholesaler, and we're going to be doing segments on the content of questions that you may have. And I also want to bring in some new wholesalers that I'm working with. Once we close, I haven't told them that yet. I haven't told them this yet, but I'd like to give it a little twist to what everyone else is doing. So what I want to do is bring in newbie wholesalers or investors to my show. It's called Ask Wholesale. And I have a few new wholesalers that I'm working with currently that I will be inviting to the show. Hopefully they'll be able to attend it because it is a live Facebook show. Okay, moving on to number 9. In the event the signee fails to close this transaction or is in default of this agreement, the assigner shall have the right to terminate this assignment of contract and declare the assignee in default, wherein assigner shall retain the sum of $3,500 as damages or rights in pursuit. Okay. Okay. This I never had to happen before. Well, the assigners have the right to sum of $3,500. That's the deposit that they left us. Interest pursuant of real estate purchase contract shall automatically revert to the assigner without notice. So basically, he's entitled to his deposit back if the assigner cannot, if the assignee, the end buyer, cannot close on this. This here clause says that we can go after him for damages. So, it could be whatever number you think you want to agree to. Remember, then at this point you're opening up a lawsuit with a lawyer, and that takes time and money. If you want to go after them for damages, fine. Most of the time we just walk away and they walk away. So this again, clause number 9 is if in case the end buyer does not perform, you can go after him for certain actions, liquid damages, etc., etc. I'll put $500 here for now. But like I said, we usually just walk away if the assignee cannot close, but we keep his deposit, right? We got his $3,500. Okay, so that's usually enough to just walk away and not have to take legal action in terms of liquid damages. But you do have the right to do that. Hey Ari, how we doing? Thank you for watching, Adam. So number 10, a signer retains the right to renegotiate the price on original contract with the seller at any time upon the closing date. If this occurs at closing, the new reduced price will be reflected on settlement statement. The assigner's assignment fee shall be increased by the amount of the price reduction. The assignee's total purchase price shall remain the same. Okay. Okay, so what this means, guys, is, okay, you have a seller in place, you have an end buyer in place, you agree to $80,000 as per this example. Now, let's say you go back to the seller, right, one or 2 weeks before closing and say, you know what, Mr. Seller, actually, the repairs to this property is going to probably be a little bit more than I expected. Can you do better than $70,000 on the sale price? And if the seller, for whatever reasons, are you negotiating, says, yeah, I could drop it another $1,000 to $69,000. Okay, well, guess what? You, as the wholesaler, get to pocket that extra $1,000. And that's what this clause number 10 says. If you renegotiate with the original contract and the seller before closing, the new reduced price will be reflected on the settlement statement, which means at the closing HUD documents, HUD, Housing Urban Development Documents, and HUD document is a closing document, and that's only used for cash transactions. If there was a mortgage, you would not be able to use a HUD form. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, if you do get the seller to reduce $1,000, you know, you're not doing it with a handshake. Oh, thank you, Mr. Seller. Hey, let me shake your hand for reducing the price. No, it doesn't work that way. You would have to go ahead and pick up the on the TREC website, TREC, TREC, which is a free website to pick up all these different documents. If you don't have it, reach out to me. I'll be happy to give you a copy. It's called the Amendment of Contract. Amendment of Contract will allow you to adjust the price from $70,000 to $69,000. The seller will sign it. You will sign it. You send it to the title company. Now they have the new price, which they'll make the change on the HUD. 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 Moving on. Any questions? Let me know. Number 10. We did that. Number 11. For facilitation of this transaction, the assignee will pay $495 as a transaction fee payable to Hilco Homes at closing. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, listen, we're a full-service real estate and investment company here at Hilco Homes. We have overhead. We have expenses to pay. You see the light above me? You see this internet that this program is running on right now? Okay? You see, hell, you see the roof over my head? This all costs money. It's not free. Okay? So therefore, we have certain transaction fees that we charge here at Hilco Homes. You, as an independent wholesaler, you can charge the same thing. You can charge $200. You can charge $2. You can charge $1,000. Whatever you think you need to cover your overhead. But this is our policy, and we enforce it strictly. It's a one-time fee. Once you do business with Hilco Homes, you don't have to pay it again. Okay, moving on.
We'll put the link of the amendment of contract.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. TREC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Charlie, my sidekick here, and thank you so much, Charlie, for sticking along here. It's almost 8 o'clock. Charlie's going to put in the comments section the link where you could get all these free documents online, including the original 1-to-4 family contract, which is a standard contract here in Texas. If you're out of Texas, you can Google it on your own state, and you should be able to pull up the free contracts, unless you live in a very progressive state like California or New York. New York, you can't write up your own contract. You need a lawyer. Screw that. That's why I moved to Texas. Okay, moving on. Seller sells property as is, no warranties. Signer makes no representation to buyer. Assignee acknowledges and agrees that he's purchasing the property as is condition. This is all legal mumbo jumbo talk, but you read it through. It's very important. You should always read these documents before signing them. A is example of matters as to which seller disclaims all warranties, representations, guarantees. not including roof, plumbing, electrical, heating system, HVAC. Basically, you're buying it as is. B, a signer, seller, and seller's agent do not warrant that the property meets any current city, state, or federal building codes in terms of violation. Of course, the title's got to be clean at closing, so that's important. That they're going to guarantee that you'll have a clean title, a marketable title, a clear title. A signer and affiliates, associates warrant no warranty or implied on inspection reports. Okay. Remember, when we do these contracts, there is no option period. Okay. The contracts have option periods in the data input form. You know, you could put days and dollars on option periods, but we at Hilco Homes, we always leave that blank. We don't do options. You know, you got to do your inspections before you leave your deposit. It's not refundable. You do your due diligence. There is no inspection period. There is no option period in this wholesale business, as we do in Hilco Homes and the majority wholesalers. So the end buyer has to do his homework and bring his contractors and get estimates before leaving that deposit, because once you do not get that money back. Okay, if the assignment is signed prior to request of any seller disclosure or any sort of, then buyer waives right. Okay, so again, if the assignment is signed prior to request for any seller disclosure of any sort, then buyers waives right. Request one. Remember, you get in a seller disclosure, so this is saying that you waive the right to that if you sign this prior to getting the seller disclosure. E, assignee acknowledges they are conducting a transactional dealing directly with the assigner for the purchase of the subject property. Assignee is not relying upon or being represented by a assigner or any other real estate broker services. So this basically says that, hey, we're not using any broker. There's no 6% commission here. If the end buyer has a broker he wants to use, he's going to have to get paid by his buyer. But there is no representation here. It's strictly seller to buyer. However, if the end buyer has someone that is helping him and consulting him, that's his expense. Okay. Page number 3. We're on page 3 now. Remember, every page they initial the document. Okay. On the bottom, initial every page and sign the last page. Moving on to page number 3. A signer highly recommends that assignee purchase and order an up-to-date survey. Okay, a survey is a sketch of the property. It tells you the dimensions of the building, the street, if there's an easement. It's stamped with a survey stamp. Make sure it's eligible. If a seller has it in a survey, you can always want to ask the seller if he has a survey. Very important, because that can save the end buyer $500. You can use that $500 to negotiate with the end buyer. Okay, very important. So always ask the seller if he has a survey for the house or the land, whatever it is. Hopefully it's not 20 years old, but within the last 10 years or 5 years. It's definitely transferable. And again, it will help save the buyer some closing costs. Sometimes these hard money lenders want a survey. Well, if the seller who's selling the property to the end buyer has a survey already, hell, it could save you $500 in closing costs. Believe me, the end buyer will love you for that. But use it for a negotiation tactic, okay? Also. Okay, guys, we're almost finished here. It's almost 1 hour. G, assignee is aware that the assigner may accept backup assignments of contract until the closing date. That protects you, right? I mean, if you have 5 buyers who want the same property, hell, I'm gonna make sure that I'm in constant communication with those other 4 buyers until you close on this deal. If you don't close on it, I'm moving on, and I'm keeping your money as a deposit if you do not close on the proper time frame. All right? This is the business we're in. H is Hillary Romero, the owner of Hilco Homes. She's a licensed real estate agent, so this always protects us as well. So full disclosure that she is an agent for Vortex Realty. If you're not an agent, you don't need to worry about this. If you are an agent, you may want to put this on your assignment. I'm an agent, but I'm also inactive. So if you're an inactive agent out there, you don't have to disclose that you're an agent. So I don't disclose it at all to anybody. At the bottom here tells you who the broker is and who's the broker's phone number and their email address. I, very important, additional terms and conditions. We use this a lot, okay? this is under certain situations, and there's certain like the buyer is buying it without a seller disclosure, the buyer is buying it without a lead paint disclosure because the seller didn't want to sign it. Sometimes, like we do deals with other wholesalers, they don't have any of these documents, so we have to let our end buyer know, hey, this other wholesaler didn't give us any of these documents, so you're buying it as is without those forms. So we put that in the which is like a special provisions section. If there's tenants there, you want to put the tenants in the rent there. If there's if it's not cleared, if it's not broom swept, you want to put that. That's the buyer is buying it not broom swept. There's junk in the house that the buyer's gonna have to hire a dumpster and dump everything out to get it ready for rehab. Things like that. So that's very important. Okay, guys, we're almost finished here. Assignment fee dispersal, basically the total fee, which was $10,000, right? Assignment fee will be paid to Hilco Homes. This amount will be dispersed in the following manner: assignment fee paid at closing, reimbursement of the earnest money. So here we would put down like $6,500 that get paid at closing, and the reimbursement of the earnest money paid to Hilco Homes. Reimbursement of the earnest money paid to Hilco Homes. So that would be, well, actually, hold on a second. So it's going to be, they left the $3,500 deposit, $6,500. So that would be, assignment fee $6,500. Here it would be $10 because we left $10 as an earnest money with the seller. Okay. So how this reads is a total of $10,000. You already collected $3,500. Remember, with the end buyer, that's already in your bank account. Make sure not to use it, guys. Please. You may want to have a separate bank account. So you don't want to commingle in this business. We have our own LLC account. So $3,500 is already in the kitty. All right. That means you have another $6,500 coming to you at closing. And remember, you gave the seller $10 in the front end when you sign a contract with the seller. That gets reimbursed because that's reimbursement of your earnest money paid to Hilco Homes at closing. Our bottom here has our addresses, our phone numbers, our emails, everybody initials, and then the last page here before we close it down is the assigner's signature on the left, the assignee's signature on the right, along with the assignee's email and phone number and address, and then again they would initial at the bottom right here. Okay, wonderful. So that is the assignment of contract. Anybody who has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And remember, here at Hilco Homes, we like to provide free content information to everyone out there watching this and following us on Facebook and all the social media platforms. If you have any questions about actually joining our firm, we are looking for full-time acquisitions partners right now. If you look behind me, there's an empty desk here. Actually, got two empty desks. So we're a full-service investment firm, and we're hiring right now. So keep that in mind. Let's do this. All right, we got two empty desks behind me, and we are a growing company, and we're always looking for people with who are self-motivated and eager and hungry to learn in this business. The potential you can make here is unlimited amount of money. I'm not going to promise you the stars and the moon, but if you do this full time, as Charlie said, you get what you put in. This is not a playground for everybody, as Marco told everyone this morning at the meeting. But keep that in mind. If you know anyone who wants to get into this real estate business, we are hiring. And remember, before I end this show, Anthony, I will be sending you your gift card. Just private message me, please. And remember this, guys. It's not what you deserve, but what you negotiate. Okay, and with that said, everyone have a good evening. I'll see you next time. Remember, this Wednesday, 2 p.m., we'll be going live on Ask Wholesale. Thank you.
So what Marco said this morning? I was reading for me.
He said, this playground is not for everyone to play in.
Yeah, I agree.